Hopper the Frog lived in a small, quiet pond. Tall reeds grew along the soft, muddy bank. Lily pads floated on the cool, green water. Hopper lived with his mother. He lived with his father, and he lived with his many, many brothers and sisters. Every morning, the sun would warm the water. The frogs would wake, say good morning to the dragonflies, and eat a breakfast of tasty water bugs. Then they would play games of leapfrog on the lily pads. It was a very happy life. Hopper loved his pond and his family, but he was a little different. His brothers and sisters were happy to hop to the same spots day after day. Hopper's eyes, big and round, were always looking past the reeds. He wondered what was beyond the pond. Was there a bigger pond? Different bugs? He dreamed of adventures under a big, open sky. He had a brave heart and a curious mind. He wanted to see the big, wide world. Sometimes his curiosity got him into trouble. He was a bit clumsy. The reed bent, and Hopper tumbled into the water with a loud splash. His brothers and sisters laughed. "Silly Hopper, why can't you just sit still?" But Hopper did not mind. He shook the water from his eyes. His dream grew bigger every day. One sunny afternoon, he packed a small lunch of green flies wrapped in a leaf, said a quiet goodbye to his sleeping family, and promised he would be back soon. With a deep breath and a thumping heart, Hopper took his first big hop off his favorite lily pad. He landed on the soft mud of the bank and left his home behind. The adventure had begun. The world outside the pond was very big, much bigger than Hopper had imagined. The blades of grass were like tall trees. The flowers were colorful giants reaching for the sun. Everything was new and exciting. Hopper loved discovering dewdrops, beetles, and butterflies. He hopped through a field of bright yellow dandelions and tried to catch fuzzy seeds floating on the wind. It tickled his nose, and he let out a funny little sneeze. The world was full of surprises, and Hopper loved every single one. He hopped until his legs grew tired and found a cool spot under a red mushroom that looked like a little house. He ate his lunch of green flies. They were not as fresh as pond flies, but still good. As he ate, he watched busy ants carrying crumbs bigger than their heads. He thought, "My goodness, everyone here is so busy." He felt very small but very brave for being here. As the sun set, the sky turned orange and pink and the shadows grew long and spooky. Hopper started to feel a little lonely. He missed the ribbit of his family in the cool pond water. He wondered if he had made a mistake.
He pulled his legs in close and wished for a friend. Just then, he heard a tiny squeak from the grass. Two small eyes stared back at him. Hopper was a little scared, but he remembered his brave heart. He croaked softly, "Hello? Is someone there?" and said, "You do not need to be afraid of me." He wanted to be kind even when he felt scared.
The big eyes blinked. A little nose twitched. Slowly, a small field mouse crept out.
Hello, my name is Squeaky.
I was hiding from a big shadow in the sky. Hopper looked up and saw the dark shape of an owl gliding above. Hopper's heart beat fast. He had heard stories about owls.
"Come, hide with me!"
Squeaky scurried under the mushroom and huddled close to Hopper. They listened in the dark as the owl's wings passed. The owl flew past without seeing them. Hopper and Squeaky let out a long sigh of relief.
Thank you. You were very brave to help me. You were brave too.
It is easier to be brave when you have a friend. They shared stories until the moon was high. Squeaky talked about finding seeds, berries, and digging cozy tunnels under the ground. Hopper told Squeaky about the cool pond water and catching flies with his sticky tongue. They were different, a frog and a mouse, but found they had much to talk about. The next morning, Squeaky showed Hopper where to find sweet strawberries. Hopper had never tasted one. It was the most delicious thing he had ever eaten. Hopper showed Squeaky how to catch slow, juicy beetles near a puddle. They spent the day exploring together. Hopper learned that making a new friend was one of the best adventures. He felt lucky to have met Squeaky. After a few days, Hopper began to think about his pond again. He missed the gentle splash of the water and his mother's goodnight croak. He missed playing leapfrog with his brothers and sisters.
"Hopper, I have had a wonderful time, but I think it's time for me to go home." "Squeaky, home is a good place to be."
Squeaky promised to help guide Hopper back. Hopper had hopped so far he wasn't sure which way to go. The world looked different from this direction. They faced small dangers. A grumpy badger blocked the path, and they hid in a hollow log until it passed. A sudden rainstorm made the ground muddy and slippery. Hopper didn't mind the rain, but Squeaky did. Hopper found a large leaf and held it over his friend until the rain stopped. He learned bravery is also helping others. He was learning to be a good friend. Finally, Hopper smelled the damp, earthy scent of his pond. He heard a faint ribbit and then another, the sound of home.
Hopper, I am here, narrator. He croaked with joy.
He hugged Squeaky and invited him to visit the pond. Squeaky promised he would. With a final wave, Hopper took a big, happy hop toward the croaking of his family. He was almost home, and his heart was full of all he had seen and learned. Hopper landed on the soft, muddy bank of his pond. His mother and father and all his brothers and sisters rushed to see him. "Hopper, you are back!" they croaked. They hugged him and asked 100 questions. He told them about the field of yellow dandelions, the big red mushroom house, and the busy ants he had seen. He described the scary owl and, most importantly, his brave and kind friend, Squeaky the mouse. His brothers and sisters listened with wide eyes. They had never imagined such things. Hopper was not just clumsy anymore. He was Hopper the adventurer, the storyteller. He showed them where to find sweet berries and taught a marching game he had learned from the ants. He was the same Hopper, but wiser. He knew the world was big and full of wonders, but there was no place better than home with family who loved you. He still played leapfrog, still ate a breakfast of tasty water bugs. But sometimes he sits on his favorite lily pad and looks out not with longing but with a happy memory. Every now and then, a little gray mouse comes to visit, and the two friends share a story and a smile. Hopper had needed to leave to understand how wonderful it was to come back. Now he is happy in his pond, an adventurer at heart, content at home.